Hello, Hymn people! Our church has just released a new 6-track EP called The Mercy Seat Ascension EP. So in this episode, it'll be a tad different to the norm because we'll be talking a bit about the writing and the producing of this latest EP, including talking about the cover art, which is really lovely that Aron has made for it, and the challenges, the difficulties of Aron and I writing together. We get on so well, but we can infuriate each other a tad. So yeah, we're talking about that sort of thing in the episode today. Thanks so much for listening to Hymnology 101. We hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to a special episode of Hymnology 101. You're listening to me, Sam.
And me, Aron.
How are you doing, Az?
I feel special.
Yeah, well, good, because it's a special episode.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you feel special. I was told in school that I was special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how positive that was when it was said to me. And maybe this episode will be special in that sort of way as well. But basically, we've released on all streaming platforms our new EP. Gabalva BC Music have released a new EP. What's it called, Aron? I don't think you're too sure, are you?
the Mercy Seat.
Yes.
Colon. Ascension EP.
Yeah. No, you don't say the word colon.
Okay. Oh, I thought you had to.
No, it's not an EP with songs about the digestive system. But yeah. So that's it. You can listen to it online. Gabalva BC Music, Spotify. I think is the place most people go to.
Yeah,
we'll be putting YouTube videos out.
Every time you say it, I think Gabalva before Christ music.
Yeah. I mean, should I have given the title of the artist out to some people and said, any thoughts? Yes, I should have done that. I got no editorial advice on the title of the artist.
It's too late now.
It's way too late. It's because our first EP was like a total last minute thought. I thought for Christmas Day we could put out a Advent EP with new songs we've recorded. Oh, I need an artist name.
In the middle of COVID, right, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
There was no one around for me to ask.
No.
What about this? So, it stands for Baptist Church, the BC, just to be clear. Yeah. Right. We're talking about songs we've written and recorded.
Yeah.
Which sounds like we're just slapping ourselves on the back, congratulating ourselves, and there's nothing more icky than that. Right? So, to slightly defend why we're bothering doing an episode on this, what do you think, Aron? Why should we chat about the making of and release of this new EP?
Because you asked me to.
Hey, yeah. Well, that is partly the reason.
Yes. No, I think it is good because it's obviously our church are singing the songs, and it's always good to have a little bit of context as to where these songs came from, why, and a bit of history behind them. Yeah. It's always nice to have that when you're thinking of a song, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's
because if people are thinking, "What the heck is this about?"
Yeah,
maybe this will help you now. Anyway, this little podcast that we'll do.
Like the Mercy Seat, what is that?
Yeah, so the title, which you remembered straight away when I asked you, the Mercy Seat.
Yeah.
Well, what is that about? What is the Mercy Seat in the Bible? And that should give you a hint. Do you recall what it is?
Yes, I do. But it is one of those things that has... I remember talking to Lee about it. There's different levels of depth to the Mercy Seat.
So it's...
Yeah,
it's actually like, specifically, it's the seat on the Ark of the Covenant, the lid to the Ark of the Covenant.
With the two cherubim on either side.
Yeah. Which we understand to represent the throne of God the Father. Mm-hmm. Behind the curtain in the tabernacle
Yeah.
And in the imagery of the Day of Atonement, when the high priest goes behind that curtain, they are figuratively, it's like they're covered in blood, representing the tribes of Israel. It's as if they've ascended into the highest heaven where the Father is.
Yeah.
And we're told in the Bible, Jesus, our great high priest, Hebrews is really good for this, is sat on the throne of grace. It's as if that seat, he sat on it.
He's occupying it right now.
Yeah, he's there for us,
Yeah.
So really, this sort of imagery was something hymn writers of old would use a lot.
Yeah.
It's very Old Testament language and stuff we're less familiar with, but is so helpful.
Yeah, it's used a lot in a lot of the old hymns.
Yeah.
And yeah, it provided that imagery for past Christians.
Yes.
To almost preach to them as, what's happening right now in the reality of the cosmos. Jesus is sat on the mercy seat, and as we sing them, or the hymns, as they would sing the hymns, you're kind of preaching that cosmic reality to the rest of the church family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because I think we were considering, and we have been for years, you and I, and Lee as well, what is the comfort of the fact that Jesus isn't on earth anymore? He says himself, it's good that I'm going away. And our natural instinct is, no, it's not. It's good if you stay, but you've gone. And we know it's got something to do with he's going to give the Holy Spirit. But we're like, yeah, that's cool. But I sort of want you. I want to be able to see you and touch you and, look at you in the face-to-face sort of way. I think it's just been, the Ascension is something that perhaps the modern church and perhaps our sort of non-conformist church, with our lack of traditions, we don't observe the Ascension. We don't really know what it means that Jesus is now in heaven. It's like, so we're waiting for him to return, but what about right now? What's he doing? What's the comfort for me that Jesus is by the Father at his right-hand side, interceding for me? I think on this EP, it's a collection of songs that we've gathered over the past 3.5 years, really, on this theme, isn't it?
Yeah, because we were also thinking about prayer, weren't we? And it was a kind of 3 years ago we were thinking about songs to do with prayer because of the sermon series on the Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
And
which Lee did in 2019 before the pandemic. COVID. Yeah.
And then we were looking into more sort of church calendar, sort of liturgy things during COVID.
Well, us three, you, me and Lee, did a lockdown podcast called Need for Creed.
Need for Creed, yeah. Which, I didn't realize it actually is a book title.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought, surely we haven't come up with this title, but it seemed to make sense at the time. But yeah, I think we were starting to think there are things that I think we don't have a clue about, that the saints of old, they very much lived in the realities of. And we were trying to grasp those.
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to tap into something which we'd lost in our tradition, I think.
And simultaneously, we were starting to have a go at songwriting for the church or thinking about that. And so these two ideas basically married together.
Yeah.
But it's only now in 2024 that in any sort of way that you can engage with, they're getting released and put out into the world. So, but I suppose the other thing I was thinking of why bother talking about this is I get the sense that in the UK, I think probably a lot of people write songs, but not many churches publish songs. So that is bother to record them, mix them, produce them, and release them into the world through, Spotify and the like. And so maybe, I don't know if there's anyone there could be someone out there who'll listen and they want to do this in their church. So maybe this will be a bit of a help. We're just giving these things a go. This is our 4th EP, which is a bit strange, and we're learning stuff all the time.
I have nothing to do with the production of it.
You are...
I'm just...
But no, you have song credits all over these songs here.
That's all literally...
But then you just sit there, reading your books. And I'm like sweating over like whether there's enough reverb on this vocal and stuff like that, which I love and hate. So, yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, I suppose what I'm saying, though, is... Yeah, in the UK, I don't get a sense that local churches do this much.
No.
I know you're saying, though, that you're not massively involved in the production side, but why do you reckon... Do you agree that that's probably the case, and if so, why?
Yeah, because it's scary, isn't it, the production side of things, and it's hard, and it's complicated, and it's time-consuming. And most churches in the UK... similar size to us, don't have the resources or time to give to this sort of thing. And I think we're quite blessed in the sense that, you've been allowed to do this work, but also our church is really, they love it. But I think a lot of churches wouldn't love it.
Yeah.
as well. They'd be like, this is what are you doing? Just stick to the ones we know, or it's a bit of an individual pursuit, isn't it? Bring in your own song. But I think that's another thing, isn't it? People tend to go down a different direction with songwriting, not through a church. It tends to be, this is my song and I'm going to release it on my terms, with my name and with my
brand.
With my brand.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's never been about that. It's what does the church need, and what songs aren't we singing, and we believe that we're all musical and we should use our gifts. So let's do it through and in the local church.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking of these EPs, like this one. It's a DIY project for us as a church.
Very much so. And even though your name and my name might appear more than others, the hope is there'll be a domino effect of others will get involved, and it hopefully will be more other people's names on there.
Well, there's quite a lot of different songwriting credits this time, more than before, but also different faces. And if you listen to this EP, every song has different lead vocals. And that's it's really nice. You get a sense of different voices, different nationalities. Whereas in the past, maybe it's been more you and I. It's less and less now, and it's really nice. Other people are involved.
It's really good,
more.
Yeah.
Which is really great. So I want to talk about this EP in particular. Has been a long time in the making. And this is the part of the thing. You're right. It takes a long time to get to the point where we put songs out.
Yeah.
Where would you say, you've hinted at it a bit, but this idea of an EP on the Ascension, well, I want to put this to you, Aron. Do you remember when in 2020, the COVID year,
yes,
you bubbled with me in our house, you, Izzy, your son, and me and Emma. We were childless then, 2020. And we just started doing this sort of hymn stuff. And I remember you wrote on your laptop, 2023 Gabalva Ascension EP.
Did I? Wow.
In 2020, you said that.
Okay.
And that was, it's weirdly manifested itself, although a couple of months too late to be 2023. Do you remember that? That's what I want to ask.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a big vision for...
and then you just sat back after that. It's like, but
I had no idea of what that would entail.
You manifested, man. You wrote it into into the future.
Wow.
But I think that's more that, back then it was already a theme that you and I were talking about and thinking we want songs on this.
Yeah.
And just to show you, like, this isn't... We've had to, over the next 3 years, find pockets of time to work on this. And it's only come about now.
Yeah. And obviously there's been a few EPs in...
Yeah. Because in the meantime, that wasn't the only thing I think we were thinking about. Then other stuff comes up. Yeah, like...
Yeah, I would say, yeah. There are a few songs in previous EPs which
could have been on
this one.
Why Do I Fear and Unbelief, particularly in the last one. EP?
Yeah.
We just got to put that one out there, but it really was on this theme. It would have sat really well on this EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some of these songs on here which go back, predating even that bubbling time.
Yeah.
We...
Yeah, so if we talk through maybe... I want to talk about the artwork, right, Aron? Brilliant artwork. But should we just go through the songs first, the titles of the songs? Yeah, do you want to read the track list out?
Okay, yeah. So track 1 is Look With Me to Christ Ascended. I suppose you put that one first because it's got the word ascend.
Well, it felt...
on there.
Okay, in a nerdy way, because I was thinking about the synchronicity. No one cares about track orders anymore. They just shuffle things anyway. But if we begin to look, then approach,
and then approach
is the next track. And then what do I say? And then Jesus tells us what to say in the Lord's Prayer. Yeah. I thought there's a bit of logic maybe in the order. But that first song, I mean, should we just talk about Look With Me to Christ Ascended now, and then we'll get onto the others maybe briefly. The first track on the EP is the last song we wrote, isn't it? It's in fact the only song on here you and I have written together, an original song, because it's hard work, isn't it?
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, there is a reason.
There's only another song this is like the second one we've properly collabed on.
From the start to the end, you know. Yeah. Because I think once I knew we're going to release this EP, I was then looking at the songs that we had for it and thought, again, I think maybe we could get one more song that...
Let's squeeze another one in.
And it also could encapsulate really all the themes on the EP. I think the problem with this one is, although I knew what I wanted it to be about, we didn't have a title. We wanted there to be the first line of each verse will be the title.
You struggled with that.
And it will repeat on each verse.
We nearly had to walk away from each other.
Yeah, but we couldn't. We went back and forth on different ones.
I left the room multiple times.
Yeah, we had different sessions. It was like we spent 3 hours on it. It was like that. We've just wasted our time. We've made a totally different song now. It's not about what we intended it to be about. So the lesson I learned there is you need to get your title right.
Yeah.
If you're going to write a hymn sort of song, you need to know what is the title. What's the first line of the song?
Yeah. It's
because if you change one word, it takes it in a slightly different direction.
Yeah.
If you change the whole sentence, then you're writing a different hymn now. So
yes.
But I think when I landed on that line, Look With Me to Christ Ascended.
Yeah.
It had both the horizontal of this isn't just me, my individual self, doing something. It's meant to be sung with your arm around your brother or sister in Christ. And we're going to, as a church, consider Jesus. You know, by faith, we're going to look with the eyes of faith to where he is now, ascended.
There's horizontal and vertical.
Yes.
In the title.
That's right. Yeah, which was what I was trying to get, but it took a long time. So it was almost like the last line to be written in a way was the title.
Yeah.
Or at least, it
got
took
there
us
in
a
the
while
end.
to get there. But Maddie sings it on the EP, sings it really wonderfully. But it was it was quite late doors that this sneaked in, and so it was quite fresh still. It clocks in at 6 minutes 10 seconds, which I feel a little insecure about.
Every album or EP has to have one of those songs.
Yeah, I just I think the thinking was like, if anyone else were to sing this, they might totally cut a whole verse out.
Yeah.
Or the doxology at the end or whatever, I don't know. But we'll give you all the options. And because we're not even singing this song yet as a church. I don't know if we sing it, I don't know how we'll sing it. We might change it up. Sometimes we'll sing all 4 verses, or sometimes just 3. That's a very old hymn thing, isn't it? That would have been normal back in the day.
Yeah, like 12-verse hymn.
Yeah.
Just sing 4 of them.
Yeah.
For different, if the sermon addresses a couple of things, then just sing the verses that hit that.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you can do that. That's something we've lost, I think.
We're like, well, oh no, we can't sing that because it's too long. Like, so an Indelible Grace song that we sing is, what is it? Jesus, I my cross have taken. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we sing the whole song, which is 6 verses. Sometimes we sing a 4-verse version.
Yeah.
I love every single line in that song, and I want to always sing it all, but I'm also aware sometimes less is more. So, yeah, I think this song will probably be a bit like that.
Okay. That's cool.
Just with the lyrics, has anything you want to say about them? Because I gave you an initial version, didn't I, with a different title?
Yeah.
You had some ideas. We came together, had a few arguments.
Bashed it out.
Yeah, but then eventually we got there. We pressed on into the darkness, and then we saw the light.
Yes, we did. I think, well, every verse kind of has got good things in there. I think every verse it stands on its own, doesn't it?
Yeah. Your favourite's verse 3, right? That's what I remember you. And again, this is the big thing in... So if I read verse 3, it's, look with me to Christ ascended, boldly bringing your request. Here unload your heavy burden, plead, petition, and confess. He will hear you, he will hear you. Jesus lives to intercede. Grace abounding, which is the title of the Bunyan autobiography, I think.
It is.
Peace extending to the weary saint in time of need. Prayer and you're bringing your prayers to the throne of grace is probably the biggest theme on the EP, actually, because I think it's an implication of the ascension of Jesus.
Yeah,
that we can boldly come to the Father without any fear, because our sin has been dealt with, and He's there for us for this very purpose, to intercede. Mm-hmm. So boldly come, So that would be one of my hopes with these songs. It would encourage people to pray.
Yeah, and that is, again, the theme of the EP, isn't it? Is what you are doing while you're praying is you are ascending the throne, isn't it?
Yes.
Your prayers are ascending as you pray into the highest heaven.
Like the altar of incense, how that, when it was lit in the tabernacle, would obviously the smell, the pleasing aroma would travel beyond the curtain.
Into the holy
into the highest heaven. Our prayers have that ability to do that. Just an example of where, I'll come to you with a set of lyrics and then you'll take it up a notch. So because I had, oh, what grace and peace he offers in the penultimate line, and you came back with grace abounding, peace extending to the weary saint. Yeah. And it's just that slight little refining. Yeah. And that's why it's good working with someone who's like-minded but different to you. Yeah. Isn't it? It's those sorts of things, I think, that we hash out.
Yeah. And it's just saying something ever so slightly differently.
Yeah.
Which is succinct and I think would stay in people's minds.
Yeah, because another one where the line now, final line is... the line we ended up with is plead, petition, and confess. The 4th line, verse 3. But I think I came to you initially with hear, petition, and confess. So you literally change one word, the hear, to plead. But it brings in just, you've got that one syllable change, but it brings in a different thing there.
And
the
it also
idea
is
of pleading.
The two P's as well, plead, petition.
Yeah, yes.
What is that called?
Alliteration. You don't need to know what it's called, but just that it works.
I think as well, because it possibly here, unload your heavy burden.
Yes.
Here, petition and confess. I just using a different word.
Yeah.
Brings a it mixes it up a bit, and also brings, like you said, brings something else to the table.
Yes, exactly.
And
I remember in the second verse, it's just literally sometimes one word, isn't it? I had read your name upon his breastplate.
yes,
And you said, I really think it should be trace, which I really like, because tracing is like that idea of like almost like rubbing your finger along it, and because this whole song is like imagining you're there, like trying to get your headspace into what the scriptures are portraying to you about the highest heaven. So it's little. That's why it's good writing with someone, even though it can be painful. It's those little things, you know.
We'll be going back and forth on those kinds of words as well. But then, as the more you sing it and the more you read it,
does it scan? Yeah, does it flow?
You've got to think as well. What people singing this, what will feel clunky and what won't feel clunky.
That's a word we'll use a lot, isn't it? Like, is it too clunky?
And probably
like it's not moving smoothly.
Smooth. Yeah, having a smooth verse, and not you can have a smooth verse with one line, which is just a clunker.
Yeah, a clunker. That's an absolute clunker of a line. Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's those sorts of things, isn't it? That's going through our heads, while working through a brand new song like this.
We'd rather not write original songs if
No.
we can find a hymn text that just says it, you know. But I had this melody that wasn't quite sort of normal meter. It sort of drove me to think we should write an original one. But also, this was just trying to encapsulate everything in the other songs. So that's the first track anyway. Just a little brief interval. I want to talk about the artwork, and then we'll come on to the others, because you've done some brilliant artwork, and I actually think it really works with that first song in particular.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, I'll pop it up on the screen while Aron, who made the artwork, can talk us through what's going on.
What's going on? Well, we released an initial single,
yes,
which is the second track, Approaching My Soul, the Mercy Seat, back... What was it, May?
Yeah, back
2023.
in May, ages ago.
And in that, I just had that vision of going through the torn curtain and seeing the Holy of Holies. You see the Ark and the Mercy Seat, and so that in that single, it's an image of the Mercy Seat.
But you're further back.
You're further back.
Yeah,
You're kind of entering into.
Yeah, you're seeing it.
You're seeing it from far, and I put like imagery of the garden around it, and you got the Holy Mountain in the background as well and stuff like that. But for this one, I thought, because it was going to be called the Mercy Seat, I just thought let's just have a piece of art which brings you closer and more, closer to the Mercy Seat. So let's imagine we've taken those steps towards it, and you've just fallen.
Yes.
Before
face down at the feet of Jesus.
Because there is that line in Approaching My Soul, the Mercy Seat, where Jesus answers prayer.
Yes. They humbly fall before his
feet.
None can perish there.
Yes.
Yeah, so this image is that, isn't it?
It is, and it's supposed to be, obviously, he's seated on the Mercy Seat, and you're just, that's what you see, isn't it? You see his pierced feet.
Yeah.
And that was the main thought behind the image, really.
Who are the guys either side here?
Yeah, and on the other side. So, those are the saints. So that's us.
Because that's it, that look with me, so Christ descended. It is like they are looking up. And he's literally just there, and they can see him.
And it's not an individualistic thing, is it? You are coming as an individual in prayer, but there's the corporate element of prayer. And as well as that, I just wanted to tap into that idea that all across the world, at any moment of the day, people are praying, and their prayers are ascending to the Mercy Seat. and Jesus is listening to all of his saints' prayers.
Yes.
And interceding with the Father. That's just an amazing thought, like one of those sort of mind-blowing concepts where you just can't comprehend or understand how it's happening, but it is a cosmic reality that is happening. And so I wanted to have like saints around, and obviously in this image it's just cut out pieces.
Yeah, I was going to say, practically, is it a collage?
It's a collage of, I've drawn a couple of them, but the best way to represent the saints is with halos. And the medieval manuscript writers and artists were just the best at representing.
So those aren't
these
sun
images.
hats?
No,
okay.
It's heavily inspired by medieval art.
Yes. Do you know what the words say there along the hem of Jesus' robe, just either side?
That is Latin, and I think it says.
Someone please fact check what Aaron's about to say.
I don't know. Like, obviously, I did a little bit of Latin, but I didn't. But yeah, I think it's. I think it's like approach. Oh, it's not. I've forgotten what it is.
But it's something relating to pertaining to the EP.
It's something to do with the Ascension.
Well, that's pretty cool if it is.
But only like I did the same in one of the other art pieces. It's the one with the lamb.
The Christ as One.
Christ as One EP, and on the lamb is on the altar, and the altar is inscribed with Latin numerals of Lamb of God, I come.
That's cool. And you're more confident with that one, though.
Yeah, with this one, I'm so sorry. I just kind of had a mind blank, but it's something to do with the Ascension.
Well, please let us know if you know Latin.
Oh my days!
Get in touch.
This is where someone will come and go, "That's not. You've just
no." Yeah,
You've just taken something.
It's probably something absolutely obscene.
Can you imagine if it's heretical? It's just no.
It looks cool.
It looks cool.
So great. No, that it's really beautiful artwork. Thanks, bro, for doing that. So what should we talk on next? I want to talk about the Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
If there for me is a moment on the EP, and if there's a prediction I have for the song that will end up being people's favourite or the most played or whatever, I think it'll be the Lord's Prayer.
Are you implanting, if someone listens to this, you're implanting that seed in someone's head so that they go and listen to the Lord's Prayer?
Then I will manifest again the truth.
Listen to it and go, what is it about this? What is he? I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I've listened to it 7 times now and I'm still not getting it. But those plays keep going up.
Yeah.
No, it's, I think I was here for the recording of all of them, even if I wasn't playing in a song. And that for me was the most like, whoa, this is really beautiful, this song. Of course, the idea, well, you had this idea to put the Lord's Prayer to music back in 2020. Maybe just talk us through, so, it's now 2024. Where did that begin, this idea of putting the Lord's Prayer to music? What was your thinking?
How
did you come up with this tune? And the version on the EP is a little bit different.
Yes.
So, talk about that.
I think I mentioned it already, the Lee series on the Lord's Prayer. And that I was doing a lot of reading around how the Lord's Prayer has been used throughout history, liturgically and by churches, and it was big in the Reformation. I think I mentioned this before, that the Lord's Prayer was used every Sunday, and often it would be put to a song. And there have been people who have done that, even in the recent years. I think Cliff Richard's got one.
Yeah.
The Lord's Prayer. I'm pretty sure the Getty's got a version. Someone, I think Hillsong.
Yeah, Hillsong have.
But a lot of the time it's inspired by the Lord's Prayer,
rather than trying to verbatim, get word for word,
follow it word for word. And I haven't found one, and there might be one out there that is word for word, as much as this one is, and I really tried to keep it word for word. That sounds like a brag, doesn't it?
No, well, no, it's just
there
desire was to try and
I would try to keep it word for word, and it's really hard because it's not met. It's
it's
you got to
not.
find a tune and it doesn't rhyme, so
There's syllables are all over the place. They're not fit nicely into a sort of poem form or something.
So 2020, when then COVID hit, I'd already had sort of the seeds of the idea of trying to put it to a song there, and then I remember this is the earliest memory of this song.
Mm-hmm.
COVID had hit, and we were like indoors. I was on furlough. I think it was one evening me and Izzy were watching Groundhog Day.
Yeah, just because COVID was like Groundhog Day.
And it was a very popular film because people were feeling that.
Yeah.
And that was when we were quite productive with a lot of the songs that we wrote.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking about songs quite a lot then, especially me because I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
But literally. So
it was such a weird time. Yeah.
When Izzy paused it, went to make a tea, I was just thinking about it, and I came up with a tune.
Yeah.
And then that tune was the tune that we do sing. It was pretty much.
It's pretty much it's the same tune, isn't it?
I think I must have added a little bit to it. Usually in the shower, the melodies come to me, or they get improved upon in the shower. I've said that before.
Yeah.
So it was just one evening, really. Groundhog Day, pause, tea, initial tune, shower in that evening, and then next day I think I tried working on some of the lyrics, and
thankfully Jesus Christ has done a lot of the lyrics for you, which is great. But how to fit them to a melody, or move a melody to fit the words, or is that sort
I think
of
I
challenge?
had obviously the words for the Lord's Prayer in my mind, and the melody came based on the words. Yeah.
Because so then you'll repeat certain lines, won't you? Forgive our debts.
Yeah.
Forgive our debts. But that's good. It's nice when you do that, those slight repetition of some of the petitions or lines. Yeah, it just re-emphasizes that.
Just to re-emphasize the point. And they are petitions, aren't they? There are 7 petitions in the Lord's Prayer, and it was good just to repeat a couple of them, just to make it fit.
But so it got to a point, didn't it? And I even taught it to the kids in our church, and we even sung it for a while. And I think I always had the idea that it's something not quite finished about it, or I'm teaching it to the church and I'm not 100% sure where these syllables are meant to land. And but we did sing it for a while, and it was pretty good. And then I thought, we'll shelve it. Maybe it needs a little bit of fine tuning, and when we record it, we can do that work. And really, you asked Ken and Priscilla to be involved.
Yeah, that was the thought behind it. When you said, I think we didn't sing it for a while. It was always initially meant to be children. I had children in mind.
Yeah.
When I was thinking of the melody and the lyrics. So predominantly was for the kids. But then when you shelved it, and I started thinking about it a bit more, we had been singing it quite upbeat, and maybe that wasn't helping with the congregation singing it. And so I had this other idea that I'd love to be able to sing this as a lullaby to Aron and Johan,
rather than a hand clapping, toe tapping version, which is what we were doing really in church. Although I don't know if anyone was actually clapping. But
probably
with the kids, I was trying to get them to clap anyway. But then the version we've gone for here is the word lullaby.
Yeah,
I think helps steer it in a different direction. But Ken and Priscilla, you asked if they'd sing and play it.
I just thought of them because they're both really musical, and they'd done in music night once. They did this Chinese hymn, Ken on the piano and Priscilla was singing, and I was just completely blown away by it, and I was like floods of tears for the whole thing.
Although I've got to say, it doesn't take much for that to happen.
I literally started tearing up.
Just
now.
thinking about it.
I'm just thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it doesn't take much, but rarely throughout the whole song, I can't control my I'm just going bawling my eyes out because it's so beautiful. And I was like, they are the ones to sing this song. In that kind of style, piano, stripped back, more of a lullaby. And I just thought that'll work. And
then when we came to recording it, they had thought through a lot of things that I was like, I never quite knew about that. Like, should it go like this or like that? And they said, we think it should go like this. And they had just had quite a lot of ideas.
They had a lot of ideas and it was really good because they improved on it. And
it is a bit of a different, it's very similar to what you had originally, but they've just taken it to the end point now, haven't they? It's like, this is the song now. But it was, as soon as they started playing and singing it again when we were recording it, like, it was quite an emotional time.
Even for you?
Even for me. Although, do you remember, talking about eyes and tears, I had an eye infection and I was
you were crying
weeping
anyway.
pus. I was weeping pus out of my eye, and it was disgusting. Maybe I'll flash a photo up if you're watching on YouTube of my face. So when you listen to that recording, just think in the background is this disgusting eye behind the laptop filled with pus and yuck.
Yes.
And Priscilla's singing so beautifully, and then it's just gunk face, behind the curtain. Anyway, so it's brilliant. I'm not saying, I mean, by all means go and listen to it. But I would just think, as soon as we recorded that, I was like, that is, I can't believe that. It's so beautiful and wonderful.
And even if we don't sing it, I mean, we can sing it a more upbeat at church, or even if it's a resource for parents.
Yes, just play
it. Or play it, or even sing it to their children before going to bed. Especially, young kids, where they like you singing before bed, and it's just a nice.
One thing with the Lord's Prayer was, like, I learnt it in school.
Yeah.
I really doubt anyone's learning the Lord's Prayer in most schools. Certainly, just ordinary comprehensive primary schools or whatever. Like, I imagine in Church of England, Wales schools and Catholic schools, you'd maybe still learn it. But most of our church children won't be going to schools where they're learning the Lord's Prayer.
No, so the church needs to be the one.
Yeah, of course. This is a resource to be used to help your kids learn it and yourself learn it.
And yourself, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then the only other song, because we'll talk on other podcasts about the hymn renovations on this EP, of which there are 3. So listen to the previous episode for Approach My Soul, the Mercy Seat. But there's 2 others. There's I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say and Jesus, the Name High Over All. But we'll talk about them, and we'll talk about Charles Wesley and Horatius Bonar, right?
And John Newton.
John Newton did Approach My Soul. Yeah. So you'll be able to listen to those. But the other original one, which is How We Should Pray, which came.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a companion piece to the Lord's Prayer, really.
Although before
it came, I mean, both you thinking about singing the Lord's Prayer and me thinking about this song, which sort of was off the back of, I think, a couple of sermons that you preached in this prayer series. And I think it's very much as well taken from a couple of points in Paul Blackham's book on prayer, on the Lord's Prayer, which you can read. It's really great. But it just came from that line in the Sermon on the Mount where Jesus says, "This then is how you should pray." And so I think it started with what became the last line of each chorus refrain, which is, "This then is how we should pray."
Yeah.
And it's Lee did this just really helpful sermon of how when Jesus teaches us to pray, our Father in heaven, it's the Son of God.
Yeah.
Puts his arm around us.
Yeah.
Us bunch of wretched sinners, and says, no, the Father in heaven is our Father. The Son of God makes us sons who have the right to pray to the Father. There's a line in there about us being exiles.
Yeah.
And I remember that in COVID, we were thinking about that a lot, how we're all locked down. But actually, we've already been locked down by God. We've been exiled from his presence, and there's a curtain in place. But through Jesus, the curtain is torn down. So it's still very similar themes of the curtain being torn, our great high priest enabling us to come on through by means of prayer.
Well, that is the thing, isn't it? That he is the one that enters first, and he is the prayer master.
Yeah,
in that sense, he's the leader. He's the one that goes ahead of us. So who better to teach us?
Yeah,
how to pray, but the one who goes before us.
Because there's that, of all the things the disciples could have asked Jesus how to do, the one thing they ask is how to pray. So this song is sort of Jesus' answer to that, how we should pray. It's a bit of an exposition on the first line of the Lord's Prayer.
It is, yeah. And didn't you have an initial thought that you would...
write loads more verses?
Yeah, use the same tune, but... kind of exposit the rest of the Lord's Prayer, and that might still happen one day.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that now for 3.5 years, but it would be good to... Yeah, I think my idea was there could be 15 verses for this song, or we just choose which ones to sing, which was... because the first 3 came about quite easily, and then I was like, oh, that's the 3-verse song with a chorus, that'll do. And I'll get round to the others, but I never have done.
And would that have been expositing the petitions in the Lord's Prayer? More, like elaborating on them.
So I was literally listening to Lee's sermons, and he did some podcasts for us as a church called Corona Comfort Podcasts.
Yeah.
Really early days in COVID. And I was just listening to them and taking the main points from them.
Yeah. And
because he was walking through the petitions.
Yeah.
And making, so this first verse will be on this bit.
Yeah.
And then
they were so good. I remember listening to them thinking, this is great.
Yeah, it was a massive help for us as a church. So this song is a sort of time capsule of that time.
Yeah.
It does remind me, whenever we sing it, of early lockdown. And it was the first, not bad song I'd written for the church. And I was like, oh, that's actually... And again, I think as I was thinking, I want the children... I want to be able to hear the children singing it.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way to write, because if you think the kids will latch onto this, the adults will, as long as it's not patronizing, I think usually adults love that too. So, yeah.
I think that's what City Light do.
Yeah, their latest EP is called Songs for Young and Old or something, isn't it? And
often the ones that you sing as a child is the ones that carry through or you remember.
Yeah.
But they need to be that catchy for children.
Yeah, and simple, but not simplistic.
Yeah.
So, I think actually, I'd like to think the theology is quite deep, but obviously we want to be able to teach in a simple way. So anyway, that's just a bit more on some of those songs then.
I like how on the EP, how we should pray leads into the Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
Because that's what happens in Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. This then is how you should pray.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be.
And then he goes into the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, so it sort of made sense to put them that way round. Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to say, Az, on this? We should probably wrap it up. Been chin-wagging for a while.
Yes. No, I mean, nothing much really to add.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like I never want to make another EP right now. We're talking on the 2nd of January, by the way, before the EP's released. Sort of like it takes a lot of effort to put this out.
That's your New Year's resolution.
It's not to... I
have resolved not to do another EP.
To do nothing with regards to making EPs. Yeah.
Well, I I had an idea when I wrote 2023 Ascension EP. Did you see that I had 2026?
You're joking. Did you? No, you're joking. No. Yeah. The Return of Jesus EP.
Yeah.
No. I think we'll leave it for a while now. Yeah. That's not to say we won't still write stuff now and again, but
maybe some singles will come out.
Maybe. If anyone else wants to produce them, just get in touch, though. That would be great.
I'll just sit back and see what happens.
Yeah, just like normal then. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for listening to us rabbit on. Maybe some of that's been helpful or mildly interesting. Go check out the EP. Get in touch with us as well if you want. My email, I put it on all the podcasts. You can get in touch. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you soon. Thanks for listening to Hymnology 101. If you got any questions, just drop me an email, sam.smith@gabalva.co.uk. We love the correspondence, so go for it. The next episode, just a heads up, will be a little bit different, so keep your eyes out for that. Like and subscribe to the podcast, etc., etc. And yeah, catch you on the next episode. Thanks very much.